welcome to podcast number 2, ladies and gentlemen. We are Realm 13, and with us we got Mr. Fluffy Wuffykins is Vinny.
Hero of Gamers is Juan.
My name's Lord Cummington, Drake.
My name is Sketchography, but you can call me Brisset.
Brisset. I like
What's
it.
that stand for?
Or just Bryce. Yeah, I mean, it's French. I don't know.
So today we thought we'd do a little
thought it was Italian.
different with, instead of GTA 5, we're going to go with a little rocket thoughts today for our little podcast. So, boys, shall we get at it?
Let's get at it.
All right.
Let's do
so
it.
First up tonight, we got texting back. When is it appropriate, and how should one approach that problem? Floor is open.
I think Juan should start. Juan, when do you text back? Like, let's give him a situation maybe so we can get a little bit more detailed here. So
Yeah, we talking like girlfriends? We talking like jaded exes? We talking like friends? What are we talking?
No. We don't text back jaded exes. That's a solid no.
Sometimes.
Depends.
Depends. Okay.
All
So
right, Juan,
for
give us a
girlfriends, I would
scenario.
say, like if you're in a relationship, that's been like 3 months in the making, of course you're gonna have to text back like within the next minute or two, because you've been in a relationship for 3 months.
Okay.
But if you've been in like 2 or 3 dates, it's, in my opinion, like always good to text back within the day. Don't let her think that, oh, you're too
busy?
not
cool for
not too
school.
busy. You're not too busy.
too cool for
to-
school, indeed.
I like it. Yeah, no, I kind of agree.
Mhm.
It also depends if you are dating and you are in school, or if you have a worker job or something, because I don't know about you guys, but I know in my industry, I am not allowed to have my phone with me a lot. So I guess situational based is always something that needs to be addressed.
I feel like
Well,
a
I
good
think-
yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I mean, if you're in a relationship, you've been in a relationship for 3 months, you're still probably getting to know that person. So, I mean, realistically, it doesn't have to be like an every 40-second type thing where you're texting them, but, texting back at your earliest convenience, I think it's just a respectful thing to do, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
And if you're 3 months into a relationship, you're into the girl, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you're obviously going to want to
well,
keep
you
texting.
like
and
to be.
you're gonna obviously want to text and see where everything goes.
So when we first
Oh,
presented
goddamn.
this, I was like, my first thought was, bad radio. Why'd you say "God damn it"?
Sorry,
Game.
got into the game.
No, I just don't wanted a
This is
wanted a
Realm 13, not cuss at your
clarification
mom.
here.
No, you good?
Close.
I
Go.
lost my train of thought. I don't even know what the fuck I was talking about.
Texting
Oh,
back.
texting back. So
Right.
the first thing that popped in my mind is like when you first meet a girl, or anyone for that matter, it's like, when is it too soon to text them back because you don't want to seem needy? And I feel like that's sort of like that whole conversation right there, whatever it is. I feel like it's all a little misstrued because it all depends on the situation. Like if you meet someone and you guys are having like a killer time, like text them back as soon as possible. Like, why wouldn't you? But if you're just like unsure, like you need to do like some light internet stalking real quick and figure out who she is, maybe you wait a day or two.
Right.
Because I mostly got my dating advice from the TV show Friends.
Yes.
It's a bad idea getting that advice from Friends because it was made in the 90s and
Yeah, let's be real here.
And they didn't have
kids are
texting.
dying on freaking chugging bleach. So, yeah.
Eating Tide
Oh, the
Pods.
fucking Tide Pods.
Yeah, that's
Tide
real
Pods.
different.
Texting back,
We'll
dude,
talk
the
about that
Tide
later.
Pods.
We'll come back to that. Anyways,
Come back
so
to that, make a note.
yeah,
that's stupid. Go on.
Depending, yeah, I feel like it's still all situational. You know, like, where'd you guys meet? How into it does she seem? Like, if you text her and then you just get one-word responses, or whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If you
This
can,
is all very true.
if you can tell she's not into you, then I would say, you know, you wait a while or not even reply.
I feel like that's
Yeah.
the hardest part for most people is they can't even figure out when they're like the person's not into them. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what turns into situations where they're like, "Oh, he's creepy."
Right.
Like, you got to definitely read the room, but most people
it's
don't know
hard
how to
to-
fucking read the room.
You know, and it all comes with practice, which sounds really bad, or experience, I guess I should say. You know, because you're not going to find
Trial and error for sure.
Yeah, you're not going to find that one person right away. There's no way.
This is true.
So
Some people do.
I know, which is crazy.
I'm saying.
Yeah. What are your thoughts,
It's
Sketch?
I think, like I said, I mean, just based off that situation that you gave me in regards to, like, you've been dating this person for 3 months. I mean, like I said, I think you text them back as, you know, fast as you deem fit, but I think it needs to be appropriate, and I think that, you know, the main thing there is, yeah, you're still going to be feeling out that person, and you also just want to make sure that if it's like one-word conversations, yeah, no, fuck that.
Yeah,
I mean,
it ain't worth
clearly conversation's dead, but if you're talking about something that both of you guys are engaging in, like, serious conversation, and yeah, you just want to be respectful to, you know,
Both parties.
reply
Yep.
in a timely, and to a timely manner, and it should be the same both ways. But the people that play the games where it's like, oh, he didn't text me back for 2 hours, I won't text him back for 2 days or some
Yeah,
bullshit
no,
like
I
that.
ain't-
I don't care.
That's
what stage you're in,
trash.
it's bullshit.
I ain't
Yeah.
about that high school
Yeah,
stuff.
that's never. It's dumb.
Yeah. All right.
I-
so
I don't-
then-
These kids really good at
I
that.
guess like
can't
I've got
tell.
a rule. So if I
Alright,
like
let's hear it.
meet someone, I will not ask them like a question. I will not ask. I mean, let's like, oh, like what's up? What are you doing? Like, what are you doing this weekend? I feel like I always get to like the whole. I'm gonna save these questions for when I see you in person because I want to get to know you and like actually get a response. You know, I want the real response. That I want to be like, oh, are you into animals? And you like have 10 days to sit there and think about if you should be into animals or not. You know, like it's just stuff like that. Because if you're getting to know someone, like you want the real person. And I feel like over texting, it's like, well, this is a lame conversation. He asked me if I like dogs. Like, of course I like dogs. When like the conversation should head in a direction where it's like,
Nice.
oh yeah, I love dogs. I have a dog. This is my dog. Let me show you pictures. Like, let's have
Right.
a conversation about something like that
You know,
instead of like
Austin-
a one-word response.
I wish Austin was here
Same
for
thing
this.
goes for anal.
He actually is pretty good when it comes to things like this. You know, especially with, let's just say, for instance, dating apps, right? Most people use them nowadays. That's kind of like the new hit, new norm. But you know, instead of dragging on a conversation, say for instance on, I don't know, Tinder, right? You meet a girl on Tinder.
Yep.
Instead of just dragging it on and on and on about just texting through the app and stuff, he'll actually go and be like, "Hey, I hate doing these dating apps. Let's meet in person." And then that's when you can kind of start judging the conversation and stuff that way. So I think that's also another good approach
Yeah.
is get away from social media when it comes to stuff like this. Just try and go old school. Go back to
it's just
roots.
not right. You got to go a little old school with it. It's just not the. It's not the same, you know. It's just not the same trying to get to know someone online as it is to, you know, be
Okay.
face to face and like have a real conversation. Like you definitely need to. I don't know. You need to see how you interact with someone because it can go both ways too. You can have a great online relationship, I guess, you know, or talk, and you guys can
Right.
talk about anything. But when you meet face to face, it's like, man, this is just a
bad.
bad spot. Like I'd rather be
Yeah, there
anywhere
has to be
else.
the
other than
personable
here right
connection.
now.
Yeah, no, there has to be connection when you're face to face. I mean, that's a given. I mean, otherwise, what's the point of even being in a relationship? You know,
Exactly.
If it's just an online relationship, you can have that with millions of people if you wanted to. What's the point? The whole
Yeah,
point
and
of a
especially
relationship is,
because
communicating.
you know everyone nowadays is always on their phone, you know, and so kind of like what you and Drake were saying with the whole, oh, he's not going to text me back for 2 hours thing, you know, fuck him, essentially. You know, unfortunately, that's this day and age. It's terrible, but true.
Yeah, that's the world we live in. Which you're right, is terrible, terrible indeed.
Yeah. What do you think, Juan?
I just don't
You
get
got
the
any
mindset behind that. Like, it's so like petty and just like childish. Like, oh, I'm gonna punish you for not texting me back. It's like, I'm an adult. Like, I have a job. You know, I can't be on my phone all the day. I'm sorry you're being needy at, you know.
Yeah, sorry,
1
sorry I
PM,
have a
but
life.
yeah, I got stuff to do.
What do you think, Juan?
Well, well, I want to know. Let's say that you do go on a good date with this girl, and you do feel like a connection with her. Do you text her first, or you let her text you?
No, text her first. Be the bigger
I
person.
feel like it doesn't matter.
Wait.
Yeah, like if you want to talk to her, then
Absolutely.
Talk
hit
to
her up.
Yeah.
You
Not in
know,
a weird way, like
if you
no
do
dick pics
end
or
up-
anything like that. But
no, you want to send the
Anal question mark. Don't do that.
yeah, you want to give her like the biggest, veiniest dick that you can possibly like make of yourself.
With a sunset in the background.
Yep, that's
I mean,
exactly.
if you're gonna
what
send
I
a dick pic, just make sure it's not yours. Like that's the whole trick to the thing.
want. Right. No, I would, you know, whenever like later that night or something, or later on in the day, absolutely text her back. Say, hey, you know, I had a great time. Hopefully you had a good time. Let's do this again sometime and see where that goes.
Exactly.
Don't forget the letter too.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to like as soon as you drop her off, like as she's walking to her door because you didn't walk her in, say, "Hey, I hope we had a good time." You know, that's a little weird. Acts clingy.
Yes.
I got a
Too
real
soon,
question
like, get
based
home
off of
first.
this question.
All right, let's hear it.
All right, would you guys date a girl that texts in phone phonics? You remember like the T9 bullshit where you type U with just the letter U and like
Oh,
two with
texting
the
lingo.
number 2, stuff like that. Yeah, text lingo. Would you date a girl for someone that
She better have A, a nice
Texted like
ass,
that?
or B, really good in bed.
I feel.
I don't know if I
That's a
can,
good question.
Say
That's a really
LOL
good question.
afterwards.
especially because how like mainstream,
Fuck.
especially how mainstream freaking autocorrect is. If you can't like type out
I know.
YOU,
yeah.
then
That's what
she's
I'm saying.
if she doesn't use autocorrect, she's too young for you.
She's
you guys
too
are in
young.
a-
And if she's only using T9, she's too old for you. Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying?
Yeah, she,
And you guys are in a group chat with me right now, and you guys notice that I try to take my time in spelling out every word.
oh, absolutely, yeah, that's how it should be.
No, no grammatical errors.
And then when I
Text like an
do
adult.
make an error, I correct them. Try
Yeah.
to correct them.
Yeah, I feel like.
I feel like it would be
if you asked
tough.
me this 2 years ago, I would have been like, okay, you know what? Like, I don't care. Like, because I understand where like they're coming from, and it's like habit and whatever.
Yeah,
but
it's,
now,
it's hard to spell.
like, man, I feel like that would almost be a deal breaker, just because it shows like lack of effort, and I feel like it's like an intelligence thing. No offense to anyone who does that, but for me, it's like if you're not going to take the time to spell out you, and if like, or if you can't demonstrate to me that you know the differences between the theirs and the twos, then
Yours.
we have no compatibility. Like,
Yeah, no, I definitely agree
God
with
damn it,
that.
spelling
learn the
you are
difference
with a
between your,
one
your,
R,
and your.
like-
Yeah,
yeah, it's.
I mean, there,
it's-
there,
I don't
there.
know.
yeah, no, I definitely agree with that.
Because I feel like I would never be allowed to get away with something like that. Like, what's another like I just feel like it's half-assed. You know what I mean? Like,
It is.
it doesn't take
absolutely.
that much longer to spell something out. And I don't know. That's just my take on it.
I'm with you. That's why I had to bring it up. I was so curious about your guys' thoughts on it.
Would you date someone like that? Did you?
No,
did
I
you
couldn't
answer
do
that?
it. It bother me a lot because it like reminds me of middle school. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's what I'm
I
saying.
texted T9 in middle school, and that's how I used to text. But ever since I was like, I don't know, 13, 14 years
Back
old.
in the flip phone
not
days.
even. Back in the
I
flip
miss
phones,
those
dude.
days.
Back when we
Back
had
in my
They were
day,
simpler
you
times.
couldn't.
back when we had
You
one
couldn't
X.
be on the phone or the internet at the same time.
Yeah. We had one X, none of this 4G thing.
Yeah.
Right, right.
I remember when 3G came out. I was like, man, this is gonna change the world.
Kind of did.
Well, I mean, it did.
Yes,
but,
it did.
I don't know. Looking back on it, it's terrible. I don't know.
All right,
Do you guys
guys.
I
remember,
remember
when the?
telling- Oh,
I guess
go for it.
here's a question. Here's another segue we can go in with technology. When did you guys start gaming? Like, what was your first system?
Oh man,
Nintendo 64.
And how old were you?
Nintendo 64.
Let's see.
Yeah.
I think my first system was the Super Nintendo and the Sega Dreamcast back when I was like 8.
Ooh, Sega Dreamcast. That was a
Dude,
solid one.
I had a Dreamcast. I had a PS1, PS2, Sega Dreamcast, and the Super NES. And fun fact, I literally, when I moved, I found a Sega Genesis. Yeah, Dad's like, hey, by the way,
Nice.
you've had this since you were a child. I was like, oh, that's good to know.
You have like Sonic on there or something?
Oh, absolutely,
The
I got
Aladdin
Sonic.
game. What did we have on fucking Sega?
Sonic.
But-
That's
That's all I
good.
can
So
think of.
mine, like,
That's-
I had
think-
the original Nintendo, like the one that looked like a VCR. You guys remember
Dude,
that?
yes. Oh, the A and B
So
button.
it came out before probably any of us were born. But I started gaming when I was like 3, right? So, but I remember. So my point to hold this, and like to bring it all around, is do you guys remember how awesome the
Juan Presse.
N64 was when it came out? It was just
Yeah.
like,
was
yo,
the tits.
this has such good graphics.
Oh yeah,
Super
absolutely.
Smash Bros.
Oh, yeah.
Super Smash Bros. Is still by far, I think, one of the best games ever made. You know, we can get
Yeah,
a heated
Yeah, I
argument
have
about
to
this,
disagree with that.
but like I said, heated argument.
Top 10. Top 10.
Okay,
100%.
I can do that.
Top 20.
Okay, Juan must have sucked
I
out.
know,
changed
top
it,
10.
and I spent a good part of my life in that game.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Just kidding. Top 10.
But anyways, you know,
Ron, you can have your opinion. That's fine.
yeah. But I mean, like going back to what Drake said, you know, the graphics. You're like, oh my god, dude, this is awesome. And then you know
This is
nowadays,
unbelievable, yeah.
you know, look at the new PCs coming out with the GTX 1080 Ti, you know, or playing Doom in 4K. You know, you look back and you're like, wow, this game,
Yeah.
is, like, this sucked. But in its
This is not
But it
good.
was.
yeah,
It's
but
good
in
for
its
the
In its
dude.
time, though.
that's what I was gonna say. But look at the time frame of it, you know, where it's like that was cutting edge technology. Look at Halo 1.
Halo 1, yeah.
Never
great
played
game.
Halo.
I'm glad.
Top 10.
I'm glad you brought up. Okay, Halo 1, first Xbox, original Xbox. Okay, when that system came out, I thought there's no way it can get more real than this.
Yeah.
And then the 360
Yep.
came out,
Right?
my mind just about exploded. And then the Xbox One came out, and I just creamed myself everywhere. Right? Now they're getting into the
Good
like
time
you
to
said,
be
the
gamer.
PCs that you can, you know, you could. It's basically real life. It is real life. It's better than real life. You know, it's. I don't know. It's crazy.
I'm so glad you said that, like, better than real life, because there are cameras out. I used to work for Apple, right? Hold on, I need
Sure.
to settle my dog down real quick. I used to work for Apple, and I worked there when the iPhone 7. Nope, it was the iPhone 6. It was when the iPhone 6 came out. That's when I started. That, like, launch day, first day selling phones was when the phone came out. Nice and crazy. But I remember, like, looking at the camera, and I had, like, 4 or something at the time. I was like super behind. But like the camera alone was just like phenomenal. It's like, wow, cameras have really come a long way. And I've never been into photography or anything like that. And now they're like cameras, and like you'll see a picture and then you'll look at something that's the exact same thing. It's like, damn, that picture is better than what I see with my eyes. Like,
Yeah.
what this camera captured right now is in higher definition than real life that I see. Like, and that just blows me away every single time that something can be better than real
you
life,
see.
like the tangible things that we all touch. Yeah.
You can thank NASA for all that technology, by the way.
Yep, especially for the
Right,
Hubble.
right.
Like literally
It's
everything
all-
on our cell phone. I'm not kidding. All the stuff on our cell phones was
So you
basically
guys-
developed by NASA.
So you guys do know that the CES convention thing was happening at Las Vegas this past week,
It was like,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah, it
that.
was like, yeah. They show all the new
And I'm
technology
looking
and
at these
everything.
videos on YouTube, and it has this ping pong table, robot machine arm that can play with humans, and
What?
even like professional ping pong players are having a tough time beating it, and like
That is crazy.
God mode.
That's a good training tool. That's a good training tool.
That's
though.
wild.
Like,
It's like the movie
Yeah.
Balls of Fury.
Forgot about that.
Can we talk about that though? I mean, that kind of relates back to like my thing in regards to like I wanted to talk about AI today. And we
The
can
AI
save
and
that
everything,
con-
yeah.
the in-depth,
Yeah, we can talk about
we
AI.
can save that conversation for another day. But the fact that I mean, yeah, there's a good chance you'll probably never be smarter than a machine, because obviously the amount of input that it can take and the effort, you know, you do something 1,000 times, you're going to become discouraged towards the end of that, right? If you still don't get it. A computer can do something 1,000 times with the same effort that it started with. And so
Yeah,
I
computers
think my
don't
whole
care.
point, yeah, they don't care. Exactly. They don't have they don't have any motivation to stop.
They have no
I guess is
driving
kind of what I'm
force.
saying. Exactly. Except for the driving force that's programmed into it. So
Or, like, no
when I
stopping
see
force.
tools like Juan was just saying, where you know professional ping pong players are having a tough time beating this mechanical arm, that's like a big deal because first off you can use that as a training tool, but how far off are we from having
Terminators.
technology in our well, not Terminators, but technology in
Terminators.
our own bodies, technology that's
Terminators.
outperforms us in pretty much every sense of the word. I mean, at what point do we become
Terminators.
useless?
Are we
You know?
obsolete?
You know,
I think that's
are
it.
we becoming obsolete? Yeah, like, are we going to become obsolete?
Well, I mean, it just makes you wonder. It's like, how, you're right, like, how far away is that? Because you already hear about the different countries. It's always, like, China or Russia. And, like, depending on what type of take you put on it, like, they built an AI and they had to shut it down because it started saying some weird shit, like, oh, I'd like to have
It
kids
started
one
its
day.
own
Like,
language.
Yeah, that was actually
The
Mark
language, yeah,
Zuckerberg,
and it started
the guy who
coding
did,
and
yeah, the
everything.
guy who did Facebook. He actually,
Facebook,
Facebook,
yeah, and
yeah,
Mark Zuckerberg, he had to shut it down because it was
Yeah.
starting to make its own language. That's
and you know what's crazy? He did that
First
in his
off.
own garage.
Yeah,
He did
so,
that in his freaking garage. That blows my mind. Okay, and the fact
crazy.
that he made a robot that made his own language. Well, Russia designed a robot that can actually fire a gun in both hands with precision accuracy,
Yep, saw that
That's
one.
insane.
and it can
So,
drive
I mean,
itself.
I think that, and I'm going to go all Darwin on you here right now, that technology is the next driving force of our evolution.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely, you'd
Well,
be
totally
stupid
it
if
is,
you
yeah.
didn't. Don't believe that, especially with the rapid way everything's going
Advancements?
nowadays.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you.
Well, I feel like
I don't know,
technology's
dude. I'm
always
just-
been the driving force of evolution. I mean, it's just had a different definition. You know what I mean? Like when we're fighting each other with swords, like that still counts as technology. It's just now it's
Sure.
computers.
Because
You know,
we're
I
using
guess it
something
really
other than
depends on your
just-
definition
sure.
of it.
Yep.
I guess in my
Yeah, you do.
definition of it would be electronic technology. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the electronic intelligence and
Yeah,
everything.
like
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. Like I think there is going to be a point in our lifetime, that you are going to start seeing people. And I'm not kidding when I say this. You are going to start seeing people have like the Google glasses, but like to the next level. So you'll see people that'll probably have like fake mechanical eyes that'll be able to input information into their brain, or you're going to be, having a mechanical arm because your actual arm isn't good enough, kind of thing. Like, I think that's like legitimately the next stage of evolution, is we're going to start incorporating technology into our bodies, and I'm curious to see where that takes us. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I'm rambling, but
You kind
I'm
of bring
just
up a
saying.
good
No, I
point
mean
like
it's
that. It's called the Turing Test, the Turing Test, or the Turing Test. I'm sorry, Turing.
which was
What?
passed
Go
for the
on.
first time in 2014. It's when a computer can prove or fool someone into thinking it's human,
Oh shit.
and that was passed in 2014, the first time.
Hold on, go
So
on.
now
There's,
we're in
there's more
2018.
background that I need on this story. Keep going.
Okay. So, oh shit.
So
I
it's
missed it.
the test is to see if a computer can convince a human that it's human.
Yes. So
Yep,
literally,
it's right here.
I will
It
read
says,
you.
computers simulating a 13-year-old boy becomes first to pass the Turing test. It fooled 33% of investigators into thinking it was human when it was actually just an
Yes.
AI.
A computer.
Yep.
Mhm.
It was just like online
How
conversation
terrifying.
or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it was all text based, I'm pretty sure, on the first one. But now we're getting to the point where synthetic voices, stuff like that, where you're teaching computers like physically how to talk. And I don't know, dude. That scares me. Like the fact that I could be talking to someone in 30 years and they're a computer. It's like,
So
what?
So think of this,
Yeah,
right?
that's
You
definitely
said
frightening.
you said the first test passed in what, 2014, right?
2014.
Yeah.
In
So it's
1950,
4 years ago.
Alan Turing predicted and said, "What if a machine was indistinguishable from a human?" 1950.
That's yeah.
Wow.
So
When
I
we were
mean, so
first
what
starting
if?
to do
So
computers and
what
stuff. Yeah.
I just
Juan,
I think
what's your take on
implications
this,
of
Juan?
that are gonna be insane. Yeah.
What do you think about all this?
Oh. So I was just reading this article right now. Sorry, my parents are in the room too. And I was just reading this article right now, and it's talking about chipping human beings.
Yeah. That's
Like-
a legit thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's been
so
around
you
for a
don't
while
see-
too.
Yeah. So
Well,
you
now
can
now
avoid
it's becoming
identity theft.
mainstream. It's becoming mainstream now.
hmm And that
almo-
way, the article is just saying like, oh, this is going to protect us from terrorists, because chipping human beings will know everything what.
No, it's a way to
Everyone
track
is
every
doing.
person on the planet.
Have you
Yeah.
seen the Kingsman?
And
That's what
my
it is.
Has everyone
Something
here seen
funny,
the same
just a
concept.
little side note here, that there's a fan theory that's how they know when like you commit a crime in GTA, is that everyone has a chip, and so when their heart rate goes to 0, they blame it on whoever is like closest to them. How like you can kill someone and still get stars when no one's around, and like that's how they know like where you're at on the map and everything. I thought that was pretty creative. I mean, I never would have thought of that on my own, but anyway, there's just a little tidbit of something I read. Go
So
on, sorry
have
guys.
you seen? No, you're good. That's a good little theory, and maybe that's what happens in the future.
It's totally true. I mean, when we started doing it with our pets, everyone was talking about it.
I
but
was
you're like,
just
it's
about
totally
to say.
mainstream now because like the anti-vaxxers, because they're the main people against it. They're afraid of government spying. But if everyone had a chip, I mean, I'm not for it or against it. I don't know enough about it to really have a
And
solid.
that's what I'm
opinion.
scared of, too. It's
But
like, oh, we just need another 9/11 incident for everyone to say, okay, we need this.
Yep.
Exactly, and you're not
It's
wrong.
at what point do you sacrifice your freedoms for security? That's literally what it boils down to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when we got my cat 17 years ago, we got her chipped just in case she got out. It's
Yep.
almost like the Where's My iPhone app, except Where's My Cat.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, like they just scan it and they're like, oh, this belongs to Mr. Vincent Fluffy Wuffykins.
Not even that,
Yeah.
It's just like, oh hey, this has GPS in it. Your cat's over here. It's just
30 feet
Yeah.
to the left.
yeah.
Yeah.
If
You
you
were
put
so
that in
close.
humans, and just kind of like what the Kingsman did, where everyone kind of spoiler alert if you have not seen the first Kingsman. We'll give people a chance to kind of turn that off.
To tune out instead of
Yeah.
spoiler alert.
It's too late.
Continuing on, and it's like you're already
Spoilers ahead.
Yeah.
I was just gonna watch that movie, man.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
Just kidding.
Go on.
It's kind of like with the Kingsmen where they all had those like little chips in them, and then one push of a button and their heads exploded. Like
Exactly. I mean,
what
it's
happens?
a security thing.
Yeah, what
People
happens?
would probably want
if,
that feature to prevent crime. I'm not even
That's what I'm
kidding.
about to say. If we have those, would there be crime?
No,
That's
there'd probably
the
be a hell of a
thing,
lot
yeah.
less. But, like I said, you're giving up your freedoms, man, for security. That's bullshit.
Yep,
There's
There's a better way.
That's why we have
no
the
happy
Second
medium.
Amendment.
Yeah.
There is no happy medium, but I don't know. I guess I have a real moral problem. Like I'm a good person. I don't need a chip to tell me that I'm, if I ever
Bad.
commit a crime, that my head blows up. I think that if, I would like to just believe in the justice system we have, but obviously there are flaws. But oh shit, nice shot.
Yes.
Solid.
Oh, he left. But I don't know, dude. I just think you're sacrificing so much of your privacy, so much of your, like I said, your freedoms to be an individual and do the things you want to do without people constantly looking in on your life. The one thing I would say, it creates jobs, but
Yeah.
I just don't
Right.
see
The NSA guys, how do I get one of those jobs? Get the NSA watching people's lives job? How do I do that? It seems
Yeah.
like you have to be super unqualified for that. All you gotta do is keep a secret. Is that what am I wrong
pretty
on
much.
that?
So,
And
side
if you
note,
ever don't
right.
keep that secret, your head blows up.
right? So,
Dear
side-
NSA, I can keep a secret.
that's so funny.
I'm just saying.
So, kind of side note, going back to kind of the little AI situation that we gently briefed about, right? Did you hear what the Roomba scandal was about a year
No.
ago? Yeah, Roomba was actually selling the floor plans of people's houses with the autonomous Roomba-ing around the house. It would actually like, gather data and then they would ship it off.
That's awesome. I mean, that's not awesome. That sucks. But like, the fact that like they turned that, because it's, I mean, it's all comes down to business. You know what I mean? Like, let's sell people's floor plans to market to them.
Yeah, that was
Like
actually
that's it's like a creative, maniacal type of ordeal there. But like, all right, I guess you guys have my floor plan now. Like that one, I feel like it's not necessarily innocent because it's definitely invading people's privacy. But it's a little hysterical where it's like, all right, well, you know where my porn room is, and you know where my big screen is. Like, what are we gonna do with that info?
yeah, well then, that just goes back to maybe they'll work hand in hand with Google Ads and be like, oh hey, you have a 10 by 10 square section in your house. Here, I'm gonna put an ad up for a 10 by 10, little box or some knickknack shit.
Something like that. Yeah, you're totally right. And those
So,
are the hell out of me.
one
You look
one
something up
scary
and then they're
thought.
all there.
One scary thought I had the other day
What's up?
about Google Ads was I had a dream about chocolate. And then the next morning when I
Chocolate.
checked my phone, I had ads appearing all over my phone about Hershey chocolates on YouTube and
Dude, maybe one's chipped, he doesn't know it.
even Twitter.
One's the patient zero for the chips.
Yeah.
Juan,
Okay,
you might
in
wanna
all
consult
reality,
with,
obviously,
your parents.
search engines
Yeah.
sell our data
Oh yeah.
to places that we for advertisement purposes. That's how they make their money, and we get it. That's fine. We've accepted that into our lives. Is that a breach of privacy?
I mean, it is. It's
Using
not.
their
That's a tough one.
using their engine, but they're selling your data, the things that you are interested in. Is that a breach of privacy?
I would say yes, but also I can say no because it's public domain access. You're not
I can
signing
agree
any.
with that.
Has anyone read the terms and agreements of
No,
a
never.
web?
In the
No,
terms
yes.
and agreements.
Yeah, definitely not. 100%.
Yeah, I
not.
bet you it's in the terms and agreements. That's like, hey, we're gonna sell your shit.
You're probably.
But-
I bet you're right. I bet you're
but-
totally right.
It's
That's like for every
it-
app, I bet.
Exactly. And it kind of goes back to what Bryce was saying with freedom versus security.
Yeah.
Everything can come
Kind of.
back to that.
I mean, it can. I mean, it's kind of. I think it's kind of mind blowing. If I'm being 100% honest, like, I just think, I don't know, the simplicities of privacy have vanished in my
Yep.
opinion. I don't know.
Oh,
All
I
right,
agree with
I
that.
gotta.
I mean, like.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, all the people that are afraid of like the chips, for example, they like I feel like they don't even like the people that are afraid of the chips, like truly afraid, and the people who are afraid of vaccines are the people that are like sharing their data with every single website that they go across. You know what I mean? Like they have,
Yeah.
they've got viruses all over their stuff. They have no idea how ignorant they are to the rest of the world and how easy it is to get their data. They're just like, oh, I need to build a bunker and the government can't inject me with the flu vaccine. Like, those are the people that are like pioneering against everything.
It's the
everything
uneducated.
that we're talking about. Exactly. Yeah.
it's the uneducated.
But
The
go
other
ahead,
thing to
Bryce.
keep
You
in
were gonna
mind-
say something?
Yeah, I was just gonna kind of add on to that point. So, I mean, in regards to advertisements, have you guys downloaded a game yet that's asked for permission to use your photos and videos and audio on your phone?
Absolutely, because who reads those?
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I literally get pop-ups for those, or not pop-ups, but like when you first download a game or an app and it asks for permission to access your photos, and it's something that doesn't need access to your photos, but then you can't utilize their system.
You
if
can't use it at all.
Yeah.
It's funny you should
And,
say that.
dude. I'm telling you, bro, it's fucking insane.
It's funny you should say that. I downloaded a flashlight app, right? And then I was like doing some research and all that because with my job, you know, I do cybersecurity stuff. So I
Sure.
look into all of that, like vulnerabilities and ways to improve on being secure, right? And
Vinny's a hacker. I'm convinced Vinny is a hacker.
all right.
That's all I needed. That is all the proof I needed.
Yeah, well, that's your opinion.
I always thought he was a memer.
Anyways,
He's the guy
so
who makes the memes.
you know, kind of going back to the app permissions, I downloaded this flashlight app, which it's a flashlight, right? It should have access to my flashlight. No, this one had
Yeah.
access to like your storage, your phone, your calls, and all this extra bullshit that it did
That's
not
what I'm
even need.
Yeah. Why does it
However-
need access to that? Because they're selling their fucking data
Yep.
on you as a consumer of their product, which you've agreed now to their terms.
Yep. Because you gave
It's
them
just-
access.
Yep. It blows my mind, bro. It really does.
And
Austin's
another
so bad, too.
topic
That
for when
Damn it.
Austin.
Sorry,
comes
team.
back
Let you
is
down
we're
there.
gonna-
Got
we're gonna-
scored on.
No worries.
We're gonna have the cunning talk of net neutrality, but that's for a different conversation. That's probably gonna take an entire session,
That's going to be a long one.
right? Cool.
I kind of
So
want
more to
touch
come,
back
listeners.
on... Oh,
What's
sorry,
up?
go ahead. Yes, I apologize. I was just gonna say I kind of want to touch back on the Turing test, like just slightly, like
Dude, it's
just,
terrifying.
just ever so slightly.
You ever see
It
the
is
movie?
fu- well, it
you
is
ever see the
terrifying.
movie I,
So-
Robot back in the early 2000s?
Oh yeah.
Will Smith.
Early
Smith.
with Will Smith. There you go.
Yeah, that's
So-
what it's gonna be.
I thought one of
manually
the
driving
interesting
your car?
things. Oops. Exactly. Okay. So, anyways, but back to my point. So, what I was getting at is there's kind of a
CS,
talk going around
CNS.
about if a machine can think. Can a machine think, right? And if it can think, does that mean that it has a soul? Like, at what point, if a machine can convince you that it is a person or a human or whatever that you can communicate and have full conversations with, at what point does it?
Ooh.
Yeah, at what point does it have a soul?
Like an
kind of, you know what I mean?
autonomous device there. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know,
Like a
especially with
truly autonomous. Can you
So
program
also-
instincts into a
Yep.
machine? Like
So
I don't
also
know.
with my work, we do a lot of deep learning AI stuff. You know, where you essentially you write an algorithm and it teaches a robot. You're essentially teaching the robot
Okay.
or
Crazy.
AI, I guess. You know, for simplicity's sakes. And you know you you make a valid point. You know, I don't know if I would be able to justify if I was in like an actual situation and a Turing test happened on me. I don't know what I would do, to be completely honest.
I think I'd be shocked.
I'd probably
Personally.
be so like mind fucked. Where what if this is a robot, but what if this is an actual person? Do we kill
Would you
it?
be overwhelmed?
Yeah. Do we
Would
kill
you
it?
kill it?
Do you keep it alive? You know?
At what point do you start trusting these machines that are smarter than you than with,
Exactly.
like global problems?
It's
Like,
true.
straight up,
Like,
if you have a
when,
machine-
when are we
if you
going to
have
get
a
to that
machine, yeah.
point? When can they think freely, and when are we going to decide that their decisions are better than ours? Like, and that kind of comes back to us saying that they are a machine. They don't give up. Like, they're programmed to do their job, and if their
Do
job
they
is
have
to
the right to vote?
think better than we are, like, yeah, like when do we do that?
If they pay taxes.
We become obsolete. I'm telling you, we become obsolete, bro. Well, that's the thing. You don't have to pay a machine,
Well,
Like,
well, if the machine
but
is gonna
that's the
live.
True.
That's,
What if it's true? What if it's alive? Why should he not pay anything? And I do.
Did you guys ever
because
see
he doesn't need
Chappie?
anything to survive. Yes, I've seen Chappie. Chappie's good.
This
core
conversation
concept of
reminds
Chappie
me of that movie. But yeah.
Which movie?
Yeah, 'cause would you say Chappie had a soul, like straight up?
Yes.
Oh, I would say yeah.
Me too. See, me too. And I think it's because even though it was a machine, it had human
Instincts.
Yeah, it had human behavior and it had
Yep.
instincts and it had
Everything. It had
feelings.
all the
Like,
characteristics
at
of
what
being human.
point a machine can feel? Does that mean that it has a soul? Oh, I just bumped. Ooh, come on. Nope, not quite.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna.
So I mean,
That's definitely gonna be a
tough.
turning point.
I mean, definitely goes back to like a god complex there, like who's creating
does.
who, and like the same argument for them can be made as for humans. It's like, well, do humans have a soul? It's like, well,
Yeah.
What defines having a soul?
yeah, like what? Yeah, right. What's the definitions there? Like, where do we all come from? What's the cycle, the evolution, and everything? Like,
Who created
what
us?
if we're
Well, I think-
robots?
Yeah.
What if we
I
were
think-
robots once upon a time and we got to a point where we could replicate ourselves? This is
Into
where
humans.
we are today.
have you guys
Ancient
ever heard
hum-
the? Have
ancient
you guys heard the
humans.
theory? Well, okay, and kind of touching on aliens, but also not. Have you guys heard of the seeding theories? Where like
Kind of.
Okay, so to kind of give you like the brief synopsis, brief overview of what the seeding theory is that kind of like what we're doing to our planet now. Our planet probably doesn't have like, we
Life.
have limited resources, obviously, and so we get to a point where a planet becomes inhabitable. Well, what if we were designed to basically populate a planet to save a species, but we're not in the final evolutionary chain of that.
Yeah, it's kind of terrifying
Like
to think
what-
about. Yeah.
It is terrifying because, like, I mean, obviously there's
Well,
creationism, there's Darwinism, and the theory of evolution, so on and so forth, whatever. And then there's just these ridiculous theories like seeding, but they're not so ridiculous that it couldn't be the
Happen.
truth, kind of a thing.
It could
Yeah.
happen.
Because I mean, why are we building a colony on Mars? I mean, that's just for eventually one day when Earth is uninhabitable. That's going to be a colony outpost, kind of like it'll be a freaking spaceport to the next planet that we're going to live on. It's,
Yeah,
I don't know.
you're totally right.
It's so maybe we're just parasites. I don't know. Like, we're just
Well, right now we are. We're
like-
infecting a host.
Some of
we
us
are.
are. Some of us are absolute trash living on this planet.
diesel truck drivers. I'm looking at you. No, I'm just kidding.
Diesel.
Just-
Oh, I thought someone was
drive
gonna
say
say
a
something
Prius
about
to save
politics.
the
I'm like,
world.
nah, I just mean like that asshole in my college classes who like just wouldn't shut the fuck up. Like,
Oh no.
Jesus.
We just scored on ourselves. All right,
good-
but
good pass.
I mean, and I think that I just find the theories kind of fascinating because it's like you get it, like I said, it's not so far off from the truth that it could happen, but it's probably didn't. But that I don't know. I think in all of the theories, the problem we have is that we like know probably how old the universe is, and the main argument for like all of like creationism, Darwinism, whatever, is I mean, there's without scientific doubt that we evolved. I mean, if people think the Earth is 7 days old, they're retarded, kind of thing. But
yeah,
okay, hold on. I
Yeah.
had a point to this. I promise. I pinky swear I'm not trying to like bash religions or Darwinism or whatever on all the others. But what I'm getting at is the fact that holy shit, what am I getting at here?
you're losing it. You
Oh,
gotta get there quick.
I lost my train of thought. Okay, so the whole point of so everyone claims the Big Bang.
Jesus.
Can life come from nothing? So on and so forth. What's the ingredients for life to like start life, kind of thing? And that's the one thing that
Yeah.
we've never been able to like truly figure out. There was actually a test back in the 1950s. I'm gonna have to actually look it up. Test for life. It's like Hewler.
Well, he's
Okay, so
looking
basically,
for that. Okay.
the Miller-Urey experiment. That's what it was. Okay, so basically, it was a chemical experiment that simulated the conditions that were thought to be present at the time of early Earth. Right, basically testing the chemical origin of life. So under these conditions, would life be able to develop from basically just the ingredients that were present on the planet at the time. So you have like your basic water, ammonia, methane, hydrogen, so on and so forth, right? So
Right.
at what point did what caused the life? You know, like was the mixture that enough to start causing RNA strands and DNA strands and getting more and more complex, and everything is just kind of evolved from that stage. I mean, because obviously everything gets more complex with time when you're looking at, you know, those kind of theories and experiments and so on and so forth. That you know, eventually you turn into monkeys, you turn into, you know, a fish hops out of water, gets legs, and so on and so forth. But I guess the whole
you
point
just
of
get
this,
organism life.
yeah, it becomes an organized body that eventually dissipates at the end of the day. So the whole point of the experiment was to and it was kind of to bash creationism. But they put this 5-liter glass flask connecting to a 500 milliliter flask full of half liquid water, and then they simulated all the experiment. They simulated it over, I want to say it was, hold on, let me see if there's a time period here. They don't say the time period, but after a certain designated amount of time, no life had actually been caused from the experiment. So all the chemicals that were present or thought to be present on early Earth, you know, didn't create life in this. Didn't create life in this test tube. So that's where creationism comes in. Is that, you know, there had to have been a higher power, basically, in regards to, you know, start kicking off life, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Oh shit!
Interesting.
Someone didn't go. I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyways,
I've never
sorry.
even heard anything about that experiment. This is all new to
dude,
me.
look it up. Miller Urey. Urey is Urey. Literally look it up right now if you have a second. It's fascinating, because then there's been obviously more tests based off of that test, and everyone argues that there wasn't enough. They didn't allow enough time. Because obviously this process would have taken place over millions and millions of years, and obviously we don't have millions and millions of years, so how do you speed up the process? And there's been people that have been trying to, you know, redo the test and find a way to basically speed the process up, to see if life would eventually form. And obviously the base for life is DNA, RNA, stuff like that, so those are the basic components in regards to like developing an organism. And then you I don't know. Anyways, I'm rambling again. Someone stop me. Someone talk about something
When
else.
did they? The only question I have is, because I'm gonna go look it up. But when did they conduct this experiment? Did you say? And I missed it?
1950s? Yeah, 1952.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So like, as long as they've had like a McDonald's sandwich out in Switzerland or whatever it is.
Yeah, sure.
So kind of side note,
man,
right?
it's
Kind of going back
Yes, I
to
know.
aliens and robots and shit. How cool would it be though if like a Pacific Rim type of effect happened? We got these giant ass mechs fighting these big ass monsters.
And the monsters aren't actually aliens. We find out they're just prehistoric under the crust of the earth nonsense.
Right, or so, you know, something like that, where you have these giant mechs, almost like a Gundam type feeling.
A Gundam.
Terrifying.
Vinny wants to live
Another
in an
side
anime. It
note.
sounds.
Pacific Rim 2 is coming out.
I know, which I'm
That-
pretty hyped
that
for.
is all.
It is. I got it. Oh no, I don't got it. Oh, good hit. And in. Let's go. I think that'd be terrifying, first off, to live in a world like that, because if you have to build 200-foot tall mechs to protect you from something that lives under the waters, you know, like, I don't think I'd be able to live on that planet. I think I'd be terrified.
Be pretty cool.
It would be absolutely terrifying. I think it'd be cool though. They would be definitely like rock stars. You know what I mean? Like
But-
global heroes. But
get it
it'd be,
from
like,
our
absolutely
aspect,
terrifying for
or
sure.
like from our aspect and their aspect, right? You grow up on that world. You're like, oh, good, another day. You know, oh, good. Are we gonna have any fights today? Like that's your way of life, where you know you get like a true,
right? It's like a
you get like a touristy
your
type
own.
feeling from us. We're like, yeah, fuck yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
robots. You know,
But if we have a machine that can become, if we
A
can
robot.
Turing test the robots against the monsters and convince them they're monsters and convince them to move to a different apartment / planet, we should be good to go.
I don't want them to be next door neighbors or
I
bunker,
didn't
Yeah.
expect
bunker room.
that end for you.
You're welcome.
I thought you were gonna say, why don't we just create robots, convince them that like they're humans, or, you know, and then they just do all the fighting for us. They're just fighting giant robots all on their own. We don't have to worry about it.
No,
Yeah,
we'll make them
So,
think they're monsters.
so hey,
and
real quick,
convince the
side
monsters
note,
to move away.
look at the chat.
Hmm.
Look what
Savage.
Trollby1 said.
Oh boy, I didn't see it. What did it say?
Neither did I. It says, "You're fucked, Fluff." So anyway, sorry. Continue. I just thought it was funny.
Did you really say that?
Yeah, look. Open up the chat, dude. It's fucking hilarious.
How do I do that?
Hold
Teach
LB.
me, I'm. Oh, hold
Is it LB?
I get the. It's not LB. LB's the score.
Alright, it's the back button then.
Oh, I see it. You fucked us.
That's awesome. Called you out.
Epic.
Now we have
That's
to
We're
win.
gonna call you
hilarious.
out. We're gonna win. No
It's
worries.
hilarious.
Um,
But anyway,
Where's it?
sorry, continue. Pacific Rim, tourist apartments. Where were we?
Giant
Yes.
robots. Would you want to be a fighter? Like
No.
everyone. So
No.
everyone like in this situation of being kidnapped.
I would
Everyone's like,
die
oh
like
well,
that.
I just
Yeah.
kicked their ass. But like realistically, like would you be the fighter? Because I wouldn't. I'd be like, nah, someone else can go handle. Like Conor McGregor, we need you in there, man.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
would
I
do it.
mean, I wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't
for
want to die from like getting stepped on by one of those monsters.
Dude,
You gotta think. I was about to
it's
say.
painless
Die
death,
fighting.
man.
It would be quick. It'd be like every time you go fight though, that's your fight. You're literally fighting for not only your life, but like everybody else's life.
I don't want that kind of pressure on me.
Dude, I can barely figure out what I want
Tom
for
Brady, where
breakfast
you
in
at?
the mornings.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Sometimes I get panicked at the McDonald's drive-thru. They're like, "You want a McMuffin?" I'm like, "I don't know."
You
Please
gotta
don't make
read the
me
menu
fight
6
robots.
times
I don't
before
know.
you.
Yeah. Or
Yep.
like
The
you're
restaurant,
That's
you're
why I
sitting there
have an AI
rehearsing
do
what
it
you're
for
gonna
me.
say before you order your hot dog. It's like, have I said it enough? I need a hot dog, extra ketchup. Sweating. That's me.
Sweating.
You want extra ketchup with your hot dog?
Dude, I want extra ketchup with everything.
Oh, they tied it.
Or be like Peter Griffin, the soup or the salad. What was it?
I don't remember. Okay, so anyways, segue now, right? Now we're talking about fast food and stuff, right? What is
Fast food.
Yeah, what would you think that the best fast food is?
American fast food, like In-N-Out Burger.
Oh,
It's hard to say no.
I do. So, question: do burritos count? Like you know the California
Like
burrito that we're
Chipotle?
all so fond of.
it,
No,
so
not Chipotle, but like a burrito shop.
almost like a
like-
Rodolfo's, where is it like a sit-down
Rodolfo.
restaurant, or
Is that
are we
considered?
doing?
That's. I don't consider that fast
You
food.
you can eat there,
is
but
fast
you
food, but it's not.
so like it's the burrito you stop on the way home from the bar. Like it's 2 o'clock in the morning, you stop and get a burrito.
It's a Taco Bell burrito.
The
Well, so for you guys it's Taco Bell, but for me it's like Lupe's burrito or something like that.
like
it's-
actual Mexican fast food.
Yeah. But like, would that be considered fast food? Because you can sit down and eat there, and you could have a whole meal there. But if you call,
mean, you
they're
can
going to be
sit
like,
down
yeah,
at
your burrito will be
McDonald's.
ready in 10 minutes. Yeah.
So what's the
I mean,
definition
I
of fast
consider
food
it
then?
fast
Right?
food.
Are we talking about like fryer, like Mickey D's
Drive-through.
type?
Drive-through.
Yeah. But then
Nope. My
Oh.
bad.
like, yeah, I would say it has to have a drive-through in order for it to be considered quote.
I think
fast
that's a
food,
requirement. Yeah.
right.
Okay.
That's the whole point of fast food.
Okay.
That was
I
the
was
whole
gonna say,
point
yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah.
It's like you drive into the drive-through.
Then I
Yeah.
stand by my decision, burrito.
In and out.
Depends on my
Yeah, I'll give
situation.
it to 'em.
If I am absolutely trashed, McDonald's or Taco Bell just
Come
sounds
on, sis.
super good, just because it is like shit food.
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. Oh, I love Chick-fil-A.
Actually, Chick-fil-A is not the best fast food restaurant, and I'm gonna go into why. I have gone to Chick-fil-A probably 6 times on a fucking Sunday, and I've never been so mad in my entire life. I'll be straight up with you.
See, I think we've
Bro,
all
that's
done
why-
that.
that's
I've
what
got
they
one
get for
down the
being
street
Mormon.
from my house, man. Get this. So I work on
Brutal.
Sundays occasionally, right? I go do concerts. every time I'm going down there, I'm like, you know what sounds awesome? It's Chick-fil-A, and it's right on the way. And I don't do this anymore, but I've probably done this 4 times. I roll up, and I'm like, dude, no line. Nice. We're
Yep.
just gonna drive right up in here, and I'm sitting there,
Drive
in
up to the window,
waiting for them to
Lights
like,
are off.
you know, how may I take your
Yeah.
order? And I sit there for probably like 20 seconds, and it's like, it's Sunday. Just like disappointment. You got to finish the drive through the drive-through. You know, you got to finish the wraparound.
It's the
The
drive
drive
of shame.
It's just like,
Yep.
it is. Everyone else like driving by is staring at you. You know, they're like, oh, look at that guy. He's Chick-fil-A on a Sunday.
What a nerd.
He wishes.
You wish. Very much so. Chick-fil-A sounds
Juan,
the
what do you
best
think?
on a Sunday.
Worse fast food restaurant would have to be Burger King in Laramie
No.
on a Sunday.
No, okay, hold on. Whoa, hold on, time out.
Burger King is my
How do
life
we get
worst.
from
hold
best
on,
to worst?
hold on, time out.
I said
Our
Sunday
Yeah.
on a Sunday.
Our Burger King in Laramie, dude, it took us 40 minutes to get French toast sticks.
What?
Yeah, French toast sticks, and there was like 6
that's
people working.
crime.
Right, so I get that.
Crime.
So, that
Okay.
being said, Juan, what's your favorite restaurant?
I have to go with the McDonald's.
McDonald's, okay.
McDonald's is
Why
nice.
so?
McDonald's.
Why
Yeah.
so?
Just because of the fries.
Oh, that is true.
Fries are good.
Our fries are good at McDonald's. You
So
can
what
tell
if
them.
Burger
Yeah,
King had
okay.
better fries? Are you only in it for fries?
They don't need to because they have onion rings. The onion rings are my favorite.
Dairy Queen also
Onion
has
rings
onion
are
rings,
delicious.
and those are good too.
Dairy Queen is good, and there is a drive-through one in Laramie, meaning it is technically fast food,
Yes.
which means
I thought all
ice cream.
Dairy Queens are no. They're not
No, there's
all.
one.
No,
No,
Drive-
not all of them.
My Dairy Queen has a drive-through.
I
in
feel like if
Jackson.
it's a chain, it's considered fast food. Like, you
Okay,
know, you
fair
know what I
enough.
mean? Like national chain. Like, I would say that, like, without a doubt, if it's a national chain. So like when to roundabout, you know,
You
mine
think
is like a mom and pop shop.
Olive Garden is a fast food restaurant?
absolutely.
Well, I mean, like, you
No,
don't
not at
pick
all.
up Olive Garden and like it's not in the same thing. Like you have to sit there and like order on the menu. You could get it to go, but I just meant like burgers and shit. You know.
That's fair. Okay, I guess I'm playing devil's advocate. All right, I apologize. But
You did get me though. I mean, that was the end of my argument. I was ready to submit. Like, oh well, he's got a point.
I don't know, man. I just think Wendy's is classic. Can't go wrong with Wendy's. Wendy's
Oh, I
is
love
is
Wendy's,
always good.
especially the Frosties.
Wendy's. You can't go wrong. Oh yeah, can't go wrong with Frosties. Can't go wrong with the chicken nuggets. Wendy's
go wrong
does a
with
lot
anything.
right.
Awesome. Nugs.
Literally, they're square patties. You get like so much more patty for your buck.
It's all about the patties.
I get down on some nugs, dude.
Some nugs, huh?
Yeah, I love me some nugs.
All right, boys, we're about wrapping up here on our podcast, so we can probably have enough
now
time
there.
for a little bit more, or we can stop it right here.
I think it's a good place to end on.
I was about to say I almost
That was
think
a good one.
I agree.
Yeah, it's a good place.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, and yeah, we'll be back here shortly with some more
Tune in next week,
rocket
kids.
thoughts.
Streamcast.
Wednesday, 8 p.m.
What are we
Mountain
calling
Time.
this? Streamcast? Stream
Strikecast.
podcast.
Streamcast.
Rocket Thoughts.
I was trying to tell someone, before we go, I was trying to tell someone about this. I was like, oh yeah, we'll be on Twitch tonight, blah, 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 everything. And I was like, why don't you tune into our P stream? I was like, that is not what I had in my head. Trying to do like podcast stream, my P stream. Like, why don't you just hop in that P stream of mine? Like,
That's
oh,
hilarious.
all right, well, that didn't quite work out. But yeah, Wednesdays
better
at
with
8,
water.
we'll be here.
All right. Yep. Sounds good, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.